Hi Reba, Linda, Tanya. I'm back down at the road, so I apologize for periodic traffic noise. This is the woods behind me. And I'm just going to... Hi Carlos. So, we're back! We have to play with nature. Dawn, hey Dawn. We have to follow nature's rules. So when the signals go down for whatever reason, good morning. Afternoon for us East Coast swinger types, East Coast swing. You may remember that song, Belle Biv DeVoe or something. So I'm going to turn the camera around so you don't have to see cars. Oh, okay. So, welcome to the forest by the road. So I started thinking about this. Well, I've been thinking about it a lot because I just got back from a trip to Florida, which had some interesting events and realizations and stuff. But let me tell you who I am real quick because I always forget that part. My name is Michelle Wolf. I've been working with people since 1996. I'm a coach and I've been a therapist. Right now I do coaching for East Coast. Yo! I'm actually from the South, but we're down in Georgia. But we're on East Coast time. Hi, HJ. I got a stutter. So, I'm a coach. I love working with healers and helper types. And helpers are, anyone who's serving the world. So that's police officers, nurses, empaths, intuitives, other psychics. Hey! My mission in life is to help those who are helping others to help themselves. So animal rescuers are big neglectors of self, as are other healers and police officers and emergency services and stuff. So that's what I do. I'm a Reiki master. I'm also a portrait artist and a writer. Nurses, absolutely. Yeah. So if you're anyone who's helping other people or serving, taking on that mission of serving in the world, I've made it my mission to support you in doing that. So I do Young Living Essential Oils. Monday I talk about an oil, so I'm going to talk about it in relation to working with your shadow self, which has been a topic of conversation for the last few days. I think a lot of people are going through that. Yeah, so I do Desire Map workshops. That's the work of Danielle Laporte. And various other things. But my website is right here, Caddyshack Designs, and there are tabs for everything that I do. So I don't want to ramble a lot about myself. You can find me there. You can find me on Facebook.com/WolfDenPress, WOLFFDENPRESS. Thank you. My graphic design is from Glow Girly, GLO Girly. GIRLY.com. That looks a little fuzzy. So I do cat home design too. If you have a cat and want to catify your house, I do all kinds of stuff. I'm easily bored and I have ADD, so that's how that happens. So life as a mirror is a concept that's not new. Nothing I talk about is new. It's just stuff that I've used and has worked really well with clients. So life as a mirror is using what you see in your life, especially anything that has an emotional charge to you, as a mirror, as mirroring back to you your disowned parts, which is your shadow self. So when I was on earlier this morning, I talked about how you see your shadow. A lot of times new clients and new meditators, people new to spiritual practices, when they start to dive deep into their heart, that's so hard to do when it's something I hate. It is, but it's very important information for you. It takes a lot of guts to look at it, and I know you have a lot of guts, so it's definitely in your realm of capability. Hey, Reba. So when you start new to spiritual practices, or you start using your intuition, you start using your empathy, you're diving deep into yourself, things can look like they're getting worse. So a frequent complaint of new clients, therapy or coaching or just people I've been teaching meditation to, a frequent complaint is, but Michelle, my life is turned to shit now. Like, everything is horrible. This happened, that happened. All this stuff is blowing up in my face. And it is and it isn't. Part of it is you've increased your awareness of your life. So you're seeing things that you were blind to that have been there all along, especially in relationships. If you've had some crap relationships and you start meditating and diving deep, you start to become aware of all the stuff you sort of blinded yourself to, or you made yourself numb to feeling. All that stuff. There's a spider on me. Now he's in the car. Oh, that's too bad. He's probably not going to live long in there. So that becomes a problem. In that, it can make you quit. It's resistance. It rises up against you. I went to a church once and the preacher used to say, you start focusing on spirit and aligning with your heart. It's as if the gates of hell rise up against to fight you. That's not what's happening. When you shine a light on something, you see the shadow behind it. So, I mean, there's tons of light and shadow behind me, right? That is because the sun is right overhead. So as it's shining down, it's lighting up and making us aware of this shadow. We're the same way. When we shine light on ourselves, when we turn the light of introspection onto ourselves, we then can see our own shadow patterns. It's the only way I know that works. Because it's the truth. If the sun's shining on you directly overhead, you don't usually see your shadow. Yeah. So it's not a bad thing, but it is scary to go into dark woods when we're used to not seeing that. We're used to ignoring it. We're used to eating it away. We're used to dramatizing our lives to ignore this shadow part. But it's really just the yin and yang, light and dark, good and bad. It's really just the intersection of those things. It's scary to us because, oh, hell no, Linda said when Sarah was talking about it. Right. Well, we don't. It's okay. We don't like it. We don't like it because, and it's scary to us and it's painful because it's all the painful things that we shoved into the dark. We did it to ourselves. And that's not a blaming statement. It's just what we do. We don't want to hurt. We recoil from pain. We step back from discomfort. It's natural. So the courageous people, the healer people, the empaths people, we can't deny that for too long or we explode. So what happens? That's when you die of a drug overdose. That's when you die of a heart attack. Because you were doing things to shove away. It's opportunity and growth. Absolutely. So coyote medicine is dogging me. I talked about that this morning. When I see coyotes, I know I'm going through a period of I'm entering a period of shit blowing up in my face, basically. And it's not big stuff. Not anymore. It's not big stuff. It's just inconvenient. So it challenges me to recognize more of my shadow self. So you'll find that thinking of life as a mirror, go away, little bug, helps you perceive the people you hate and the crappy stuff in your environment as just parts of your story. So it's not like a person has been sent by God to punish you or to make your life a living hell. It's in your face and in your awareness as information for you to grow. It's a gift. I put a little gift in the title of this because you feel like it's a gift with a giant turd inside. But it's not. It's a gift that will lead you toward more sun. And if you're on this broadcast, you're already a person who is shining light on yourself, which means your shadow is visible. When it's visible, shadow shows up as, right, a big turd box. Thanks, life. Appreciate it. But you've, in a sense, asked for it because you have said, I want more than this. You have said that there's more to your life than this, and you want more. So These here hillbillies do not know what to make of a woman standing in shorts and a t-shirt talking to her phone on the side of the road. Yeah. I'm getting some very strange looks. And you know what? That's okay. Right. A little box of shit for you with a pretty little bow on it. Here you go. Have fun with your box of turds. But you want that box of turds, you really do. Yeah, instead of dick in a box, it's shit in a box. But you want that shit. You want to see it. You really do, or you wouldn't be here. Our darkness shows up in life as crappy people, crappy events, things that upset us, recurrent patterns of situations that make us angry. That is our shadow. It's anything that triggers our pain, because when it triggers our pain, it's our opportunity to heal it. I want that shit. Give me that shit. Come on, life. That's what you say when you start spiritual practice. In essence, you say, all right, show me where all the shit is so I can sweep it up and incorporate it. You guys are killing me. The way I teach people to work with shadow is take a step back from your life and do an inventory. Where in your life is a recurrent pattern? So we get rid of one person and another person shows up just like them. We get rid of that person and another person shows up just like them. They trigger the same emotion over and over again, and you're like, why do I still have people with personality disorders in my life? Why do I still have people who talk to me like shit in my life? And it's because it's letting you know that you've disowned a part of yourself that needs healing. So if someone is out here talking shit to you, that's information that you're still doing that to yourself. You have a disowned part of yourself that needs attention. If you can take that emotion in the moment or as soon as possible and ask, what do you have to teach me? I have seen you over and over again. I have felt you over and over again. What is the message? How can I see this differently? How can I offer you compassion? How can I take the thing I hate and integrate it and welcome it into the wholeness of my being? And it's sure not easy. It's sure not easy. But if you look back over your life, I'm pretty sure you can find a pattern that is no longer present in your life today. So I had a pattern with attracting women in my life that were very victim-y. The whiny, helpless kind of person that you feel just like trying to suck the life force out of you, like energetic vampires. Maybe not that extreme, but people who just pull on you. They see your light, they feel your peace, and rather than get their own peace, they try to pull yours away from you. They try to take. Women especially. So what that meant for me once I finally stopped to look at it is that I had rejected the part of myself that wants to be victim-y, that wants to be rescued, that wants to be lay on the floor like a toddler and have mommy come fix it or daddy come fix it. The part of me that doesn't want to be responsible. The part of me that feels like a victim. I had a lot of victimization in my life. A robbery, some stuff from childhood, that kind of crap. So I had a victim piece of myself, but then the other part of myself was like, you're not going to fuck with me, life. I'm going to fuck with you back. And so my reaction to not wanting to be a victim was to go almost too far the other direction and be a little hard, a little harsh, to stuff my emotions. I wouldn't let myself cry. I wouldn't let myself feel anything that triggered a feeling right here. I rejected that. I did drugs to cover it up. I focused on other people to cover it up. I ate to cover it up. And I still have a tendency to do that. Sarah Ballard's Koya dancing is helping heal that really rapidly. So the issues with my not being able to tolerate emotion in my body. You think if you've lost part of your soul, where soul retrieval would help, that shadow work is enough? I do. And I say that because I've seen it work. But I also need to add a disclaimer to that, is that for myself, I don't think your soul actually goes away. I think you block your awareness to it. You splinter yourself into parts and pieces by putting up walls, by creating rooms in your head and in your heart that box away those things. So I don't think that it's something you have to go get. I think it's something that you have to open the door to. That's just me. And I know that soul retrieval works for, I personally don't do soul retrieval. I know what it is intellectually. I've not experienced it, so I really can't speak to it. Here's what I know for sure. There are 100 million paths to God. There are 100 million paths to wholeness, and it's because we're all different. We all connect to different things. We all resonate with different people. So there are a billion ways to create wholeness within yourself. Hey, Catherine. Yeah, I would say what you just said. Go with your intuition on soul retrieval work. For me, it's like, I don't feel resonant with it. I feel resonant to shadow work in the way that I'm describing, and that's what I use with my clients, and I've seen it work. I also know some people really have benefited from soul retrieval work. So anything that you come across on Periscope or in life or whatever as a technique of a way to do things, always just check with your heart and your gut. And if there's alignment there and you're like, yes, that's for me, or you feel like almost a hunger for that technique, go with that. If you feel like I don't know, then that's not for you. And that's okay. That's why there's a billion ways to do it. There's no right or wrong in any of this stuff. There's what you feel resonant with. There's what calls to your heart. There's what, when you hear it, you're like, oh yeah. After my mom died, I was so angry with family members for not filling her place. Oh, Tanya. Ouch. Ouch. I think that meant I needed to care for myself. Yes, absolutely. That's exactly how I would interpret that if a client came to me and said, I'm so pissed off at my sister and I don't know why, or I'm pulling on the people around me, craving something from them, and they're not giving it to me and it's pissing me off. Yeah. If you're craving something from another person, it's the biggest flag of information. Yeah. So I tell that to people a lot when they keep finding themselves in unrequited love. You're curious, but you don't really want to open a shit box that's too big to handle. And yes, Tanya, I'm very sorry about your mother. I've lost my dad, and my sister's on here, and you know, we can relate to the loss. Nobody wants to open their box of shit, but if you want to be whole, you have to go into the muck. It's like the lotus flower. That's why the lotus flower is such an enduring symbol. Your roots are in the poop. Your roots are down in the mud. Yes, thank you. I think we can all relate to losing a loved one, right? It's hurtful. Talking about soul retrieval. Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes. Earlier we were talking about boxes of shit. You can watch the replay and hear that part if you missed it. But yeah, soul retrieval, I feel like, for me personally, is I really don't know if I can put a word on it. It's just not for me. I'll just say that. It's not for me. Soul retrieval is what and for whom? Jess Carlson does soul retrieval, so she'd probably be the best person to talk about it in depth. It's a shamanic practice, and it's the theory that when you reject a part of yourself, your piece of your soul actually goes somewhere else and can be like lost out there and in pain, and you need to go get it, energetically speaking. But I'll refer you to her because I know she's really solid in her practice. And for people that are attracted to soul retrieval work, I would definitely refer people to her because she is a powerful person. I admire her a lot. But for me, I use the life as a mirror thing. Yeah, it doesn't resonate with me either. It does for a lot of people. I also think that may have to do with where you grow up. I know that's more of a cultural thing in other countries and other areas. Yeah, so splintering feels like something I can manage myself. So techniques to working with shadow are life as a mirror. You can throw in oils, essential oils. I did say I was going to talk about that. So 3 wise men is what I'm using right now. I look to the oils that are listed in the Bible a lot. They're so ancient and they're so spiritual. If you have a high quality oil, you can feel it. And it's a support. It supports you in your spiritual growth. I can never explain the science of it to you. I don't know that we know what the science is. But this oil has frankincense and myrrh and sandalwood and some really powerful spiritual oils in it. I find them very supportive when I'm diving deep to make sure that I stay connected to my heart. I really hope this tow truck is not going to stay here. Go away. Oh, he's leaving. So he's not part of my box of shit. Looking at life as a mirror, looking for the places that you reject others. Your daughter is allergic to frankincense? And yes, lavender. They are expensive. They are expensive. But you don't, Young Living essential oils are expensive and you only ever have to smell them. And myrrh, yeah. You can just smell them. So you can buy 1 bottle that can last you a lifetime. Allergic to lavender. Yeah, for meditating. Okay, so if allergic to lavender, I had not heard that. Now, can you tell me, was it a pure lavender from like Young Living or doTERRA? I don't sell doTERRA. I only speak about Young Living because I am a distributor. But, I would have faith that their oils are pure. Yeah, that's really rare. So, Catherine, do you have an alternative for lavender? And Tanya, you have to let us know what brand or brands you've tried. Because if it's adulterated with anything at all, there's no regulation for that, and people can lie about what's actually in the bottle. I trust Young Living. I know doTERRA people. We can find you an alternative lavender if you'd like. Me or my sister. Katie 1010 is my sister. She knows more about, off the top of her head, she usually knows more about oils than I do. So finding a spiritual oil. Okay, so first, step 1. Recognize you have a shadow self. Oh, wow. Yeah, I think Young Living and doTERRA are the 2 companies that I feel the best about. Tanya, if you'll DM me your address, I'll send you a lavender sample. Linda, you too. I'll send you some samples. Motorcycle. I like motorcycles, but anyway, it's kind of loud. Tanya, or I tell you what, anybody who's on here right now that wants some Young Living samples, DM me on Twitter, send me your mailing address, and I will send you some this week. This week is terrible busy, so I'll get it to you sometime this week. But I have a bunch of samples. I can send you guys some stuff to try. Okay, so scan your life, take back, get a notebook, scan through your life, and make a list of all the people you hate. All the people that piss you off, all the people that you don't like. In AA, they talk a lot about when you point a finger at someone else, you have 3 fingers pointing back at you. If you see it, it belongs to you. It's a rejected part of yourself that you are still rejecting. So like the victim stuff I was talking about earlier, when I ran across women who were whiny and victim-y, I hated them. Like, I wanted to kick them in the head. I had violent reactions to women who were super victim-y, which is ironic because I worked with a lot of victims. And I didn't always have that strong of a reaction to it, But the more deep I got into myself, the more I recognized there was a victim part of myself, a really wounded part of myself, that I didn't want anything to do with. I found her gross. I found her repugnant. I didn't like how she viewed the world. And I had to do a lot of work to find compassion for myself in that and accept that piece of my shadow into the light. It took me about a year. And it wasn't that long ago. It was only about 2 or 3 years ago. But the minute it all clicked and came together, I stopped reacting to victim-y women, and they stopped showing up in my life. I'm sure they're still here, but I don't see them because they don't have anything, they don't have any information for me. It's all just information. It's not people out to get you and ruin your day. It's information for you from the world, if you can view it that way. Yeah. So using life as a mirror thought process, you make a list of all the people you hate. You recognize that if you point out a behavior in someone, especially if it's a pattern, the 3 fingers pointing back at you mean it belongs to you. If you spot it, you got it. That's another saying that gets tossed around. If you spot a behavior and you have an emotional reaction to it, you've got it, baby. It's yours. So the faster you can own it and deal with the yucky, icky uncomfortableness of having to accept parts we don't like. Another type of woman I react to is the super hard, if you are this woman, I apologize. I don't mean any disrespect. It's the hard, harsh, I want to say real estate agent, a pushy person, a pushy salesman type person. A lot of us have reactions to that pushy, but yeah. So if we react to that in a really negative way as a pattern that hits us in the gut, so you're going to react to people that are unlikable, that everybody dislikes, and you're like, oh geez, I hate that used car salesman person. But a part of what you're picking up in that stereotype of person is their desperation. So then you can say to yourself, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Southern society has a lot of that. There's a desperate falseness that a lot of Southern women develop because they're not allowed to be themselves. There's still, in Southern culture, a real rejection of powerful women. So a lot of times women will become over masculinized because that's where power is in our culture, and I could talk about that for days, of power and culture. And I mean, I minored in sociology, so don't even get me started on that. But when we react to it as women to women, what we're feeling in that stereotypical woman is desperation. This is just all my interpretation, guys, so take it with a grain of salt and test it out for yourself. But what I feel underneath that is a clawing, desperate energy. A desperate energy of a person that is so cut off from themselves. Oh, cool. Say thank you. Thank you, little box. You found one of your turds. Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's your indicator. Your heart is thumping. You get sick to your stomach. That's information for you that you own that, and it needs love and compassion to become one with you. Oh, well, let yourself cry if you can. Yeah, desperation is a big one for women. For men, too. I'm not a man. I don't have a penis, so I can't really talk to masculine experience except on intellectual things. So I'm sticking to women because I know more about that. I've worked more with women, too. I have worked with men, but the majority of my career has been with women and children. Right. There's our poop gift box. Thank you, life, for showing me where my shit is. The desperation hurts me in my stomach. Okay, so you see it. You feel it. And here's some techniques you can use to work with that. When you feel it and you've got your thumpy heart, you say thank you first. You say, thank you, God, for showing me a wound. I've got a wound here and it has become a shadow self, a shadow part. And it's my intention to welcome that part. And so here's what I recommend clients do first is write a letter. Send love to yourself. Find compassion for yourself, just as if you had just seen a wounded child or like a dirty, yucky little kid. I saw a lot of dirty, yucky little kids when I was working in Child Protective Services. And your initial reaction is like, ugh, I don't really want to pick up that dirty, yucky little kid that's got lice and they're just filthy. And then you can't stop yourself from picking them up. You pick them up and you sweep them in and you hold their dirty little lice-ridden bodies and you just love on them. And it's the same process. You find the love for yourself in your own heart and you extend that to that desperate person in front of you. And that doesn't mean you talk to that physical person. It doesn't mean you have a relationship with them. But you say to yourself, there's a part of me that feels that way. There's a part of me that feels desperate and clawing and needy and hungry, the never-ending hunger. There's a part of me like that, and so I'm going to write a letter to that part. And so you do. You write a letter. You say, dear desperation, or dear victim, or dear neediness. And a lot of times when you start this work, you'll see an image in your mind, like an image of a person and will show up that like embodies those characteristics. And you just talk to that person in a letter and say, I'm so sorry. I don't know where you got splintered off from me, but I want to welcome you back. And I recognize that it hurts right now. And I recognize that my heart is thumping and I'm sweating and I feel tearful. And you let yourself cry if you can. And you let yourself feel sorry that a part of you got cut off from love. A part of you got cut off from life. And then you forgive. If a person caused you to splinter a part of yourself off, you forgive that person. If you rejected a part of yourself, you forgive yourself. There's not a part of us that becomes splintered off for no reason. Typically, it's so we can survive. If we're in bad childhoods or we're in bad situations and we need to survive, sometimes splitting ourselves off is all we can do. The gift of life is if we live long enough, we get the opportunity to come back and bring those parts back. Does that make sense? Gestalt therapy, if you want to Google that, Gestalt, has an empty chair technique. You may have heard of this, where you sit in a chair. Hey, Kelly, we're talking about shadow selves and how to get our parts of ourselves that we've disowned back. We're talking about right now being triggered by desperation women or victim-y women. So the empty chair technique is when you look in your life, you examine your life as a mirror, you find the people that you hate, the people that trigger you, and you imagine, you sit in a chair, you put an empty chair in front of you. This is Gestalt therapy. And you talk to that part, and you say, I don't like feeling like a victim, and I don't like when victim-y women are around me, and I feel like I want to kill them. Yeah. So you can write a letter. Kelly, you can watch the replay for the whole explanation of why to do this and how the letter thing works. But the empty chair technique can work too, especially if you like to talk and if you're an external processor. So external processors talk through their problems. You can also do this with a friend if you have someone you can trust, or a therapist if it feels too big to do by yourself. So you say, yeah, okay, good, yeah. Let yourself feel, Linda. I know that you may have to you may not be able to do this in the moment, but let yourself have those feelings as much as you can. I don't know where you're at, but, as much as you can. And we love you, and please feel our love for you. Like, here's some love. There's a love blast. I'll put you on my Reiki list, too. So the empty chair is you imagine that victim-y, whiny, needy part of yourself that you hate, that triggers you, and you say to it, I don't like you. I don't like what I feel when I think about you. You're welcome. I don't like this feeling when you're near me. And then you let that part talk back to you. And you ask it, what is the message here? Where did I split you off? Why are victim-y women in my life and triggering me? and you let yourself have the feelings, and you think, and you'll get this information. That part will actually, in your imagination, talk back to you and tell you. And the bottom line, I can bottom line all of this for you. When you are triggered by another person, that's your shadow part that needs to come in, and you do it through love. If I know that all of you on here have big giant hearts, and at the core of it all are very sensitive people. So you find that sensitivity and you give it to you. You embrace that victim-y, needy part in your mind and in your heart. You can imagine even holding the person that you don't like in your arms as if they were a child. Anything that you can do to extend love and compassion, and to recognize that people act the way they do because they're wounded. They're hurt. They hurt. Just like we hurt. And they act their hurt out on other people. And if it's triggering you, you have the same hurt. You have matching wounds. When you heal the wound in yourself, that person will not bother you anymore. Or they'll just go away. If it's a boss or a person you run into regularly, they literally will just disappear. I've seen bosses quit, or I've been moved out of jobs as soon as the information that it was giving me was resolved. Victim-y women don't bother me anymore because I don't see them very often, like I said, because I've accepted that needy victim-y part of myself as just another part of myself. It's just another part. It doesn't have to be good or bad. We don't have to label it. We don't have to hate it. We don't have to like it, but we have to love it at a soul level in our heart. Yeah, I'm glad it's making sense. Yes, watch the replay. I'm going to wrap up soon. I'm standing on the side of the road here. You know, the hillbillies are staring at me. I love that you're here. I love this group too. I love it enough that I drove 15 minutes out here to stand on the road so I could get a signal. So shadow self is a topic that's coming up a lot. And thinking of life as a mirror, reflecting back to you your disowned parts that is your shadow, can help you get some objectivity and start to work with those parts. So writing the letter, you write a letter that part. Oh, thank you, Tanya. I love it when you guys are here. I love the love. I get all squishy. I feel all squishy in a good way. So let the wounded parts of yourself write back to you. If you're doing the chair technique, you let them talk back to you, and you hear it in your imagination, and you're not crazy, I promise. You write to yourself and let that part write back, and it can get mean. Like, your wounded parts of yourself can have a lot of anger under the pain. So the stuff that comes out, let it just come out. Welcome it. And when the discomfort gets too high, move, take a walk, do some Koya dancing with Sarah. Thrive with Sarah is her handle. She's got a Katch channel, so you can go do some Koya dancing. Do any kind of dancing to help your body process the energy. And don't be surprised, the deeper you guys dive into this connection to God, the more that stuff will come up into your awareness. It's a good thing. You stir the pond, the mud, the waters get dark, and then as you wait and as you be patient, as you work with your parts, it dies down and your water will be clear in a way that it was not clear before. It becomes more clear. So I'll give you one more example of things that you can expect when you're diving deep like you guys are. We're all day running around looking at this spiritual stuff, so it's normal that our lives are going to get a little wonky. It's normal. You're going to feel like things are going to shit, but they're not. They're coming up for healing. Love brings up everything unlike itself. The more you reach for God, the more the things in your life that are not God get brought up for healing. Does that make sense? Your awareness is expanded and you see how you separate yourself from God every day. DM me with your addresses too, and then DM me if you have further questions or need help with this. I'm here for you for that. So the other thing you can expect possibly is physical symptoms. So for myself, Periscope has caused me to, oh, bless you, blessings on your head. Blessings on your head, Tanya, and your heart. And thank you for the hearts and the shares and all that. I appreciate you guys so much. So physical symptoms can follow. So typically the pattern I see with clients is you dive deep, stuff comes up for your awareness, it's uncomfortable, it's shitty, everyone hates it. The gutsy, courageous people keep going to get on the other side. They keep going through the resistance and they come out on the other side in a completely different place. You're going through that transformation of a butterfly, and it's painful, it's yucky, and it can be ugly. It can also, you recognize it, the emotions start coming up, and then you may have some physical symptoms as you're moving through the process. So for me, Periscope has made me more open, more talkative. I'm taking the things that used to be in my therapist's office, in my coaching practice, and I'm making them public. That's been a real challenge for me. I had to go through the thing about being seen. I had to go through fear about rejection. Most of the people on Facebook don't know how deeply spiritual I am. Well, they do now. I kind of laid everything out there for everybody. But it's my whole life, and it's who I am, and I can talk about it for millions of years and never get enough. So what I'm experiencing now is I saw coyotes. Coyotes are a sign for me that things are going to get glitchy for a while, and that's okay. I just need to stay aware. Thank you. Well, you guys make it possible. I couldn't do it without you. This is like a total group effort, a symbiotic relationship, sort of, in a healthy way. So that all has to do with communication. So as I'm owning more of my shadow, as I'm healing more of my fears, and I use my oils daily. 3 Wise Men I got at the Fuel Orlando conference that I was just at. So I'm using that one now. I'm taking that as a sign, like, here's your next one. So what has happened to me lately is problems in the communication centers of my body. So my throat has been giving me problems. Your throat chakra is where you communicate and where you speak. This morning I couldn't really speak very well. I had to drink a lot of coffee. And, really, any excuse will do to drink extra coffee. I don't have a problem with that. But my throat was fucked up, and it still is. My eyes, you guys know I've been whining and complaining about my eyes for weeks, 2 weeks now. My hearing, I'm not hearing as well. So all my communication centers are in flux. I have changed the way I see the world. I've changed the way I'm speaking in the world. I changed what I'm hearing. I'm not allowing myself to listen to garbage. I'm not allowing myself to listen to people who are not interested in growing. I'm just not allowing it. So all that means is I went through my emotions. I owned some more shadow pieces of myself and integrated them emotionally. Now my body is catching up. Your body is the thick material stuff that your spirit is housed in, and it takes a little while to catch up. So my eyes are shifting, my throat is shifting, my ears are shifting, and I'm guessing a few weeks and I'll be fine. So, I have, so Tony said, if you're listening, I've thought the same about Facebook. I'll probably lose friends, but that's okay. The right ones will stay or show up. And a lot of people show up, don't they? Like, I didn't know you before Periscope. I know so many people now post Periscope that I just love and adore. And I take that too as signs. My life as a mirror is changed because there is more people mirroring back to me the spirituality and growth and love and source and all that stuff than I ever had before. But I had to make the choice to open myself up to that. So, yeah. So if you think about life as a mirror techniques, your life is different now. You have new information. There's patterns that you had that you don't have anymore. You just keep doing that your whole life and your patterns will change. So make a list of all the people you hate and can't stand and trigger you. feel your emotions, write letters to those parts, or talk to them with the empty chair. DM me if you have any questions or you want more clarification. These are like deep concepts. So, normally in a therapy session, we'd take 2 or 3 weeks to get this, and I'm like blasting you with it on a Monday afternoon. So, the more shadow you own, the more whole you become, the easier it is to stay connected to your source. That's all. No need to be scared of your shadow. It's just the parts that hurt. And they just need your love. And you can call on God for the strength to help with that. Sorry, I'm getting stuff off the top of my car. Don't do it by yourself. Ask for God. Ask for source. And please be with me as I go through this. I know you want me to be joined with you more fully in my day-to-day life. So support me and give me the courage and the strength I need to keep looking, to keep feeling, to keep allowing that energy to move through my body and to integrate the parts of myself that I hate. Whew. That was awesome. It's a lot of material, so watch the replay a few times and let me know if you have questions. Send me your addresses for oil samples, and remember to look out at life, and it's telling you everything that you need. Heavy stuff, right? I felt so compelled to talk about this today. I just had to get this out there. So thanks for sharing it out with others. I have a Katch channel too. It's the Katch.me/Michelle Wolf 11. It's the same. My Twitter handle, my Instagram, my Katch, it's all the same. And, let's roll with that, right? It's a new moon. Let's roll with it. Let's see how much of our shadow we can see. Okay. Thanks for coming. Bless you all. You're such a joy and a gift to me in my life on a daily basis. So, we'll talk to you soon. And much love to you. And I will see you in the morning. Thank you. Oh. Okay.